I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Today's going to be another bits and pieces project. I've got a whole lot of irons in the fire and I'm trying to move them all forward just a little bit so that I can get past the stopping points. First thing I'm going to be working on is a wheelbarrow. The wheelbarrow that I'm making is going to be a garden wheelbarrow, and it's not designed to haul great weight or stand up to a lot of abuse. It's more decorative. Lydia wants to have a wheelbarrow to put some flowers in, and she was trying to find one on eBay or somewhere around, and had the thought to set it out in the front yard or in the backyard and move it around from sunlight spot to sunlight spot because we're a little bit challenged here. We have a lot of trees. Well, looking around to try and find one, we're finding out that they're not that common and they're very expensive. So I think Old Sneelock's going to get around and make one. First step, get the tools ready. Well, a wheelbarrow doesn't really work without a wheel. And we all know how the story of the horseshoe nail goes. All for one of a horseshoe nail. Well, I have a thing to roll tires for steel wheels, but the little device that does it, the base was loose on it. But being the kind of guy that I am, I have a tool for that too. The motorcyclists in the group probably recognize these, at least if you were a motorcyclist back in the 70s. Honda made all the screws that held the case covers on. Phillips head. Phillips head's a great idea. It lets you use a power driver to do things. It doesn't let the screwdriver slip out of the slot while you're using it. But they were designed to fail before they broke the bolt. If you try and over torque a Phillips head screw, it strips out. So here we are with a Honda that we couldn't get the cases off to get in and check the clutch or work on the points or anything else on the bike. In comes the little impact driver. Put a Phillips head socket on the end of it, 3/8 in this case. Set it into the bolt, turn it in the direction that you want it to go, either off or on. That drove the spring-loaded housing forward, which caused the inner section to rotate at the same time it was putting pressure down onto the screw. You could either remove them or tighten them. You didn't really want to tighten them with this, because if you tighten them with this, it's hard to get them off. Myself, I always used dead blow hammer. The reason for using a dead blow hammer, steel hammers put a lot of force into things, but they also have a tendency to make them swell up at the point of impact. Dead blow hammer puts all the same amount of force into it. That's a 16-ounce hammer. Does a 1 pound hit. A 16-ounce steel hammer, soon you end up with an impact driver that looks like this one. This one still works, but it wouldn't if you keep going like this. This is called a roll former. And now that we have the base tightened down, I can clamp it to the bench. That's why I have this little apron on the back of the vise. It lets me clamp things onto it, whether it's a roll former or the belt sander, either one. Now I need to go get the grease gun because I have to grease those rollers. Well, I want to end up with a wheel that's about 15 inches in diameter. To do that, I have to cut a tire that's slightly bigger than that. The way to know the diameter of the tire, or the rim in this case, is to multiply the diameter of the wheel that you want by 3.1415. Now some of you guys can do this in your head. I'm going to cheat and use a pencil. 15 times 3.1. Now why am I rounding it down to 3.1? This is a wheelbarrow. It's not perfection. It's going to be close. And 3.14, I'm down to the significant number of being 0.1. I'm making my cuts with a grinder. I'm going to be welding it together. I don't have to be that precise. One times 15 is 15. Then 0, 3 times 5 is 15. Funny how that works. 3 times 1 is 3. That makes 4. 46.5 inches. So my tire has to be 46.5 inches before I start rolling it. Now why before? Well, it's a lot easier to turn it on the ring roller if you have it cut the length before you start. You can cheat and leave it a couple inches long. If you really need to get exactly to a size, then roll it, over roll it a bit, pull it out to the size that you want, mark it and cut it. Once again, we're making a wheelbarrow, a decorative wheelbarrow. Doesn't have to be that precise. Now just so I don't have to chase this thing all over the shop, I'm going to clamp it in the vise. (46.5 inches). Yep, 46.5. Measure twice, cut once. I'm trying out something. This is a silver pencil that I picked up down at Alro Steel. Usually I just use a regular pencil. Silver pencil shows up a little bit better on the iron. Now this is cold rolled. It's not as easy to work with as hot rolled as far as marking it because it's got a little bit of grease on the surface, a little film of grease. But I think it should be all right. Now I have a plasma cutter sitting here. Why am I not using the plasma cutter? Well, a couple of reasons. One, it's more work to set up the plasma cutter to make the cut. And if I'm only making it 1.25 inches long, grinder does a good job. Two, the grinder actually ends up with a cut that's ground when you're done. So it's to size and it's finished and I don't have to do anything else to it. If I use the plasma torch, I have to cut it and then grind it. It's just a matter of what's easier. cut's done. Got a little bit of a burr on the back side. I want to knock the burr off. Now I'm putting a bevel on the ends so that when I weld it up, I'll be able to get a good penetration on my joint. Now the bevel is only about half the thickness of the steel. That's going to leave me a good 1/16 of an inch on this 3/16 material. And that's going to give me a good solid point to join the two ends together so that they're square. And also, I'm going to be able to penetrate that 1/16 of an inch quite easily with a welder. Starting to get a curve in it, but this is why guys put power rollers together. This takes a lot of work. One of the things that happens when you use a ring roller like this one is it tends to open up the jaws, which makes it want to squirt the steel out. That's a bit of work for this old man. I think I'm going to rest a bit. So there I have a ring, but there's a slight twist in it. This leg is actually twisted this way. I need to rotate these two edges so that they're back in alignment. That actually looks pretty good. By having this brake disc back here, you can use it as a flat spot. Pull these two pieces into alignment. I need to get it in there just a little bit better. So I have the edges lined up. If I don't knock everything all to hell. That clamp out of there, I'm in pretty good shape. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments below. You know, I read them all.